A shocking discovery in Thailand. Police have arrested the leader of a bizarre jungle cult after finding 11 bodies inside the compound. The self-proclaimed father of all religions allegedly convinced followers that his bodily fluids had healing powers. Officials have called the case one of the most disturbing cult incidents in recent Thai history.
It all started with a daughter who was desperate for help. 53-year-old Jenjira went to see a man named Mobla, an influencer in Thailand famous for his exorcisms, kind of like the real-life version of what we see in Conjuring. She wasn't there for herself. She was there for her 80-year-old mother. Her mother had suddenly changed from a calm, religious Christian woman into someone who spoke of a new divine being, a man she called the Father of Jesus, the one she now believed was the true creator of the world. The mother said she had finally found the truth and wanted to live in this figure, almost like a monk dedicated to his teachings. At first, her daughter thought it was just another passing belief, but soon things took a dark turn. Their mother stopped answering calls. She left home and disappeared into a secluded community somewhere deep in the Thai countryside. Days turned into weeks. The family grew more anxious. Something didn't feel right. So they decided to follow her to see what had really happened. And they had no idea what they were about to find would become one of the strangest, disturbing cult stories Thailand has ever seen. When Jenjira and her sister reached the hidden village, it felt like stepping into another world, a quiet place where a small group of people lived together and followed one strange belief. They were led inside by one of the followers. Everyone there spoke softly, moving as if it's under a spell. And right there sat a man they called the Father. To his follower, he wasn't just a leader. He was the creator of the world and the father of Jesus himself. They began to show how they performed the greeting ritual. The children watched quietly as a ritual began, nothing like any Buddhist ceremony they had ever seen. But what caught their attention next left them shocked. Beside the father's seat were several small containers, or ponds, as the follower called them. One was filled with urine, another with feces. And before they could even proceed what they were seeing, the world seemed frozen. There, in front of them, stood their mother. She scooped from the container and drank. Then she dipped her hands in the urine and rubbed it across her face like holy water. Bowing again and again. Her children couldn't move. They wanted to scream and pull her away, but they were surrounded by dozens of father's followers, all watching in silence. And then it got worse. When their mother finished her ritual, one of the followers reached into the container, rubbed the father's hand in the excrement, and passed it along, hand to hand, until it reached back to her again. She took it and consumed it. Each follower did the same, repeating every move with the complete devotion. They believed that those who smelled something foul were sinful. But if you smell nothing, or even something pleasant, it meant you were pure, chosen, and blessed. For the children, it was no longer about the faith or the freedom, but it was a nightmare, and their mother was trapped inside. Before we move any further, let's take a moment to look at this man behind all of this. His name is Mr. Thawee, around 75 years old, self-proclaimed the father. He dressed like a hermit with long white hair and a beard, speaking slowly, almost hypnotically. Thawee claimed that he had been chosen by divine power, that he could cure any illness through what he called holy consumption. His followers truly believed that his body was holy. For years, this small group lived deep in the countryside, far from the public eye. Around 30 people, mostly elderly followers, built a life around him, worshipping him as the creator of the world. He had been living there quietly, defying the law, performing rituals that blur the line between faith and madness. It was only then, when Jenjira and her sister reached out for help, that the truth finally began to surface. After the journalists and authorities arrived at the commune, they had to pretend they were there for another reason just to get inside. Eventually, they managed to gain access. Together with the famous Thai influencer, Mo Pla. Once inside, they encountered Mr. Thawee, or Joseph, or the father, as his followers call him. His followers showed how they performed the rituals, showing how they consume urine, wash their faces with it, and even eat feces. The father claimed that he once lived as a regular monk, but later realized he possessed divine powers. His followers believed him completely, but his behavior and claims were extremely concerning. Raising questions about his sanity is shocking. The journalists could barely handle it. The smell and filth were just too much. And the most disturbing part, they discovered more than 20 large barrels filled with filthy substances, and people actually drank from them, truly believing that this contaminated water would heal their illnesses. And that's not all. As they continue exploring the area, the journalists made an even more horrifying discovery. There were 11 bodies found inside. According to the followers, these were people who had died while practicing the sex rituals. The father reportedly wouldn't allow the body to return to their families, saying that once someone took the vows, they had offered themselves to him entirely, body and soul. That means their remains couldn't be taken home. It's shocking beyond words. But what's more disturbing is that among those bodies were children, including infants. In the footage, you can see the moment where journalists tried to persuade one of the followers to show them where the bodies were kept. Eventually, one follower agreed and led them to the area. Before entering, they were told to bow before a picture of the father, Joseph. Only then could they proceed. Inside, guards were stationed near the bodies, and despite the journalist's request, they refused to open or show them, saying it was forbidden. And after the footage went online, the story blew up all over Thailand. People were shocked and horrified. They couldn't believe something like this could still happen today, right in the middle of the community. Authorities act fast. The father, also called Joseph, whose real name is Mr. Thawee Nanra, was arrested along with several close followers. Police found dozens of barrels filled with human waste, bones, and decayed bodies. Forensic teams were brought in to identify the bodies and confirm if they were really his followers. When the police questioned Mr. Thawee, he remained calm. He said he hadn't done nothing wrong, that everything he did was a part of sacred ritual. He claimed that his followers came willingly and that they believed his body and fluids had divine healing power. Even during his arrest, some followers kept bowing to him, crying and begging the police to let their father go. Authorities said the place was like nothing they had ever seen. It was a mix of religious delusion, control, and tragedy. Health officials later confirmed that consuming human waste was extremely dangerous and could cause serious infections, even death. As the investigation went on, the cult site was cleaned up. The bodies were taken for proper examination, and the families of the deceased were contacted. The story became a national warning, a dark reminder of how blind faith, isolation, and manipulation can lead to something truly horrifying. This story isn't just a cult or a man, it's a chilling reminder of how powerful belief can be and how easily it can be twisted when people are desperate for hope, healing, or meaning. Many followers didn't start out wanting to do something wrong. They were just simply searching for help, and that's what made them easy target. The father, or Mr. Thawee, used that weakness to control them. He replaced faith with fear and spirituality with submission. It shows us how dangerous it can be when one person claims to speak for the divine, when logic, compassion, and truth are replaced by blind obedience. Even now, some of his followers still defend him, saying he was misunderstood or chosen by a higher power. It's heartbreaking because it shows how deep manipulation can go, how once someone's mind is captured by belief, it can be nearly impossible to bring them back. In the end, this story forces us to ask, where does faith become dangerous? And how can we protect the people we love from it? And that's the story of the father of filth, a man who claimed to be divine, but left only fear, decay, and chalk behind. It's a story that makes you wonder how far faith can go before it turns to something truly horrifying. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to hear more disturbing story, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.